Ashani, otherwise known as Jamaican Dude, who was the victor of Chaos Treasure Series 3. They will be going over and breaking down Tivit for us today. So, Ashani, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your history as a player real quick?
History as a player. I started playing Magic the Gathering. I believe it was Cons Tarkir, could be wrong. Whenever Siege Rhino was doing a mess in Standard, that's when I joined Magic. I played casually for maybe a year, then my local scene got very active in Modern, did a few SCG events with Modern. Didn't really have any big finishes in the SCG events, but like the side events, the day when you scrub out for day 2, you have the day 2 side events. I think my best finish was 20th or 18th. That was my best finish in any SCG events. But after that, I got into EDH. I started on Skype. Started off with, I don't know if anyone knows him, like Frankie Peanuts, Jordan, some of the old time guys who got me into it. Then I found Discord. I went over, started playing on Play EDH when the Landman just came around, and then I kind of got into. I met Timmy T1000, that runs like the user on the Nexus, now running Budget Brews. Scott, pretty much what people consider the old guard now, is pretty much who I used to play with. So yeah, I've been here for a while, still struggling through. Finally start having some decent finishes. I was always a decent league player. When there was a bunch of leagues at the time, I would normally finish in top 5 of leagues and stuff like that, but never really good tournament day, because I will always do something silly when it comes to a tournament. I'll be playing a deck for 2 months, and then on tournament day, I picked up a deck I never played before, and then get completely stomped. So, yeah. So that's my history. Currently now, doing casting for Eminence and Play with Power. Part of the Play with Power team, a part of the Eminence team, and yeah, doing better, doing good, doing better stuff now. So more content creation focused.
But talking about you hopping around from deck to deck, I know that you've played a whole bunch of different lists. I know that you are typically in the mid-range to turbo area. What made you decide to bring Tivit to the tournament here?
When Tivit came on the scene, when Ian won with Tivit, I was like, that seems like a acceptable card. Seems like you fold to Red Blast, and I didn't want to really try to play it. So I was like, Malcolm Timner. I played Malcolm Timner for a while. A friend of mine, Ben, had a successful run with it in the M&S event in LA. And I tried the deck, and it dirtled. It dirtled well, but it was, I want to say at the end of the day, too big brain for me. The wins lines were just a little too convoluted for me. It was very storm focused, and I wasn't that clean with Esper Storm to kind of make it go. So I saw Tivit, I was like, and a lot of people started picking up Tivit after Ian won with it. And then it kind of died down. And then when it kind of died down, the hype died down, I picked it up again. Zane, Z-Rob, and Helenium had a build of it because they were messing around with it. And then they put it down. I'm like, all right, let's try Tivit. It feels like Niv Mizzet. I enjoyed Niv Mizzet. I played Niv Mizzet for a while. I thought it was one of the best controlled decks. So I kind of gravitated towards it. But I didn't think it was tournament ready. I thought maybe there was 50 cards, a solid 50 card core, but like everything else was like up in the air. So I played with it. I brewed with a few other friends of mine. I start with Ad Nauseum, then I cut Ad Nauseum, then I put Ad Nauseum back in, and I was like back and forth on a lot of choices. But at the end of the day, Tivit, when I realized what Tivit was, the Ward 3.
Mhm.
The Ward 3, the flying, the evasion, and a 6/6. And does a 1-card win condition in the command zone. So it like had all the good things for a commander to be great. So yeah, I brought Tivit. I brought Tivit because I feel like the meta isn't as terrible as it used to be.
Yeah.
Especially with the extended time now. First it used to be 75 minutes. And for you to bring a mid-range deck or control deck to a 75-minute timer, you would never get there. Some people did. I don't think I could have. In 90 minutes, I still had 3 draws. In the time limit for tournaments now, I think 90 minutes is giving you more of a mid-range feel. People are building decks now to make sure Ad Nauseum decks don't win. Decks like Wrong Side, decks like TNK. Kind of the reason you see TNK kind of falling out of favor because people are building decks to compete against it. So I build a deck to beat that deck. And the deck to beat at the time was Teamer. And I feel like this deck plays well against Dargo Stracios. And that was how I ended up on Tivit. I played a bunch of games and I realized that I can just play under stacks. And if you can build a deck that can play under every stack that hit the battlefield, I think you have a good deck.
Fair enough. Which, Tivit's a decently popular deck right now.
Yeah.
But for those who are watching who aren't aware of what Tivit does, do you want to give us a quick breakdown of the main game plan of the deck?
Main game plan of the deck is to find a draw engine. That might sound like any deck that you want to play, but in this deck, you might want to find a draw engine. You can try to turbo out Tivit and use that as your value engine, but the problem is if you get interacted with, you're now out of the game because you use most of your resources to try to resolve the Tivit. So I believe you play to your pod. Your game plan is always Tivit into Time Sieve. If you don't want to play Time Sieve or you can't resolve a Tivit, you still have your kitten to Fairy Lines, and you still have Orca Consult. So you have different venues to do it, but this current list and this game plan is draw engine, hey piece, and see where the game goes from there. You go where the game leads you.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And speaking about hate pieces, I noticed that while your list still definitely runs some, you still have Grafdigger's Cage, you still have the good stuff like Dothy and Opposition Agent. You are much more on the mid-range rather than running any heavy stats.
Yeah.
What's your thought behind that?
I might be biased, but I don't think stacks wins games. Stacking down the board, you will take 2 players out of the game, and someone else will play under the stack piece as well. If you're playing white, I don't think you leave home without Dranis and Ranger Captain.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the 2 things that you want to as a stacks piece. Stack pieces are a fickle mistress. I believe you play the best stacks in the format. I don't think you need repetition of it.
I'm also noticing that you run quite a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
You run both Drown in the Lock and Hydroblast in the list. What is your reasoning behind that?
So the Drown in the Lock is it was a test slot. A friend of mine said, you want removal and you want maybe interaction. The problem with Drown is it's not always online, but the cards that you normally want to remove is normally 2 CMC. And you can normally find at least 2 cards in someone's graveyard.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of small choices that are made here to differentiate it from other Tivit decks. Yeah. But what are your highlight cards?
Highlight card, Stubborn Denial. Love that card. It's great in the early game because when someone go for an early win condition that they very tight on mana, kind of blows them out. When Tivit is online, it's even better. Misdirection, even though people say it's bad, I still think in a deck where people are looking to interact with your commander, free interaction is key. It's, as I said, it's kind of like if miss it. When you land Tivit, you want to untap with Tivit. And if you're untap with Tivit, you're normally winning. So if you can play all the spells that get you to it, then play it.
I know there are some Tivit lists that have strayed away from the Adnaz plan, but I see you're still on it.
Yeah, a lot of Tivit is like against Adnals because they're like, oh, that's not my game plan. But 5 mana draw 10 at instant speed, why would you not play it? You don't have to have an ad nauseum strategy to play Adnals. I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that.
I if someone said, why don't you play Pair over Adnals? I don't play Pair for like mental health reasons. I cannot handle my 7 mana spell being swatted. I can't handle it. So
yeah.
Until you figure out a way to make sure my Pair cannot be swatted, I'm not playing it.
Fair enough. Are there any tips that you'd have for someone wanting to pick up the deck, wanting to play your list?
Be patient for all the people who played in the Flash meta. Just play like you used to play then. Everyone has a loaded gun, and you need to wait until someone takes a shot first, and then you can clean up after. Whoever plays this deck, if you have suggestions, definitely hit me up about it. Discord is Jamaican Dude. I don't remember what the numbers are.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah, it'll be in the description for more details. Yep.
Well, as we come to a close here, any last things you want to say? Any last shout outs? Any last comments?
Yeah, shout out to all the people who been supporting me from day one. It's been a long road. It's been many top 16s and top 4s. And finally we got a tournament under our belt, so maybe I can start coaching now. Yeah. But yeah, now shout out to the people who played: Scott, Tim, Cabal, Nexus, everyone who helped me got here. Social media, you can find me on Twitter. Not really active there. I'm active there, kind of more lurk, as Ashani. And Discord as Jamaican Dude.
All right, sounds good. Once again, congrats on the win. Great job.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and keep running great tournaments.
Thank you, and thank you to all our viewers, as well as a special thank you to our patrons. We really could not do all this without you guys, so thank you so much. Special shout out to Frenchie at our fellow Dark Guardian tier, as well as Suzu, Aries, and That Mandu at our Displacer Kitten tier.